What up guys, it's Drac, and we're going to be making the video. That's right, the video. So buckle up because it's the big announcement video that I've teased a couple of times. This is actually my third time filming it. We've tried twice before and each of those were disasters, which is why I know that you need to strap in because it's going to take a minute. I know that because I've watched the others and it's just, anyway, so I have, I think, everything that I need. I've got my goofy cowlick, something to fiddle with, Coca-Cola on standby. Yes, we are clear for launch. Announcement video for 2016, or 2017 announcement video covering 2016 is a go, ladies and gentlemen. So, I have talking points. I hope that doesn't bother anybody because normally I don't use talking points. If you've been with the channel for a while, and I assume if you're strapped in for a video this long that you've been with the channel for a while, you know that my content is usually like very one-on-one, one friend to another conversation style. It's very organic, and there isn't a script because I feel like that works better. But we have a script because this one is so long, and I hate missing things, and that's why the other two takes just don't sit well with me because they're not very good takes, and I'm missing things. So let's begin as organically as we can with a huge thank you to you guys. 2016 was the best year of my unlife. Just period. By a long shot, not even close. And I graduated in 2015. So that's how big a deal this is. It's even cooler than that. It was late 2015, but just we could hit the highlight reel, but there are probably 300 videos from this year where in excess in great detail, particularly with the vlog channel in full swing now, you guys can see what an incredible year this was. I got to give the Draculina the most amazing Christmas present ever. That was phenomenal, and all thanks to you guys. I got to see Texas and set a world record. That was incredible. I got to go to Singapore and work with JetX and Explorer and build a blaster over there and get to experience their culture and war. Oh my gosh, I got to go to Singapore. How incredible is that? So those are highlights. I mean, I learned a lot of new things. I feel like I really, as humbly as I can put this, I feel like I mastered hydrographics and that I no longer do dip jobs that turn out to be disasters. They tend to go much better now, probably like a 95% success rate, which may not be mastery by any stretch, but for me, coming from a much lower success rate when I had just started it, that's pretty incredible. So I picked up some new skills, I got really fast at other things, and there's another huge landmark that I'll always remember in 2016 in the future, but I'll discuss that later when it's more timely and relevant. And it'll be obvious what it is because it's a huge deal to me personally. Now, the focus of this video originally, it wasn't even going to be like a huge announcement video. And I want it to be a huge announcement video and a thank you video because I'd hate to split it up into the some odd 7 different talking points here because I feel like it's more powerful as a standalone piece. But I need to talk about commissions. I need to talk about commissions because 2016 was simultaneously an awesome year for commissions and a terrible year for commissions. And so let's talk about that. It was a great year for commissions because I got to commission some really cool blasters. Again, I've never been better at nerf modding than I am now. I've never been better at crafting things than I am now, and I keep getting better as a result of you guys supporting this channel and just getting to make things all the time. I would be a pretty crummy engineer if I wasn't getting better at it. So I do get to get better, and I do get to share that with you guys. Sometimes I share it by making videos, sometimes I share it directly by making things for people. Commissions have always cost money, and with each passing year they get more and more expensive as my ability, materials cost in the hobby, and materials have never cost more in the hobby than they do now. You used to be able to build a primary for next to nothing. I'll never forget when a trip to Lowe's and a McMaster car order, and for $15 you could build an awesome primary. Now it seems like everybody wants a super fancy kit. Everything involves lipos. Even if you're building a Springer, it needs 3D printed parts, etc. So modding is much more expensive now than it used to be when I got into the hobby, which means that contracts are more expensive because I have to buy those parts. And even though I tend to buy things in bulk because I do have an incredible workshop that I couldn't be more thankful for, I still am not immune to the price inflation that's been going on in the hobby recently. So commissions are expensive. They've always been expensive, but they're more expensive than they've ever been, and they've gotten to the point where I'm like no longer comfortable with how expensive they are. And I know that that sounds crazy because like money is good, and the more money you have, the more things that you can do, but like you can only charge so much for a contract before it just becomes the cliche thing that gets tossed around a lot. Is like paintballers are like, oh, I could spend that on a marker setup instead, and that's a very expensive hobby, and that's frequently what my contracts cost. And I'm very proud of my work. I don't want to sell it for less than it's worth, and I know that my time is worth something, but I find myself lowballing myself very frequently in 2016 with the commission process, and that is a dagger for everyone. It doesn't even benefit me. I do it at the beginning because I'm uncomfortable with how much my time is worth, so I lowball myself to make a more comfortable figure, and then I spend all of this money on the materials, and then I'm actually not getting paid what I'm worth. So while I'm working on the commission, I have to force myself to put that regular level of like Meraki into it that I put into things that I build for myself. And I think that that's absolutely how the commission process should work. Back in the day, UIN13, or ICE as he's known, said I would never be comfortable shipping something if I wasn't sad putting it in the box. And I hold to that. I've always kind of believed in that. I think that anything that you send to someone else to take into foamy battle should be at least the equivalent or like nicer than the things that you make yourself. And so I've always strived to do that in commissions within reason and in regards to price. So I've tried to do that, and this year it's been tough because while I feel like I've accomplished that with all of my commissions, one of them in particular I had to fix after sending it out, and that was heartbreaking for me because, and I don't think that it was anybody's fault, we just chose poor compatibility of parts, and so that one in particular was very upsetting. And then other ones just took longer than I wanted them to because 2016 was so incredible and I was doing so much traveling that even after charging what I charged for commissions, I would still take like 2 or 3, or like in one particularly bad case, I was taking like a month for some of my contracts, and that it was pretty bad for me. I remember a long time ago, like I've been doing commissions for 6 years now. So like my turnaround time used to be snappy. It used to be so fast, but that was when we were fighting with just undergraduate classes for my time, and life was frankly a lot easier back then before taxes and S corporation stuff. So it's just, I don't know, 2016 was a huge growth year, not only for like me as a company, but also me as a person, and definitely for me as a creator. So commissions became very stressful, and when the commission process is stressful like that, it doesn't benefit anybody. So what I'm trying to do is in 2017, I'm changing the way that commissions work. Now I think that it's dishonest almost to quit them completely, because that's sort of what drew a lot of people into the channel in the first place, is the making of these incredible things. So I want to keep making things, but I can't keep doing them the way that I've been doing them. And hopefully you guys can appreciate this, that for the most part, up until recently, I am just a complete one-man production of everything. I make the videos, I make the blasters, I edit the videos, poorly, to be fair, and I do all of my social media marketing and etc. So like, there's just only so many hours in the day. Recently, I've been getting 500 to 600 emails a day, like in regards to mostly commission work. Sometimes it's spam from companies that want YouTube videos. Sometimes it's promotional offers from companies, which I have to take because gotta eat. But so it's just complicated, and it's really difficult to sift through that many emails. So I'm hoping that by making this announcement, letting you guys know clearly how, and more importantly to me, why I'm changing commissions for 2017, it'll get easier. Just because I read every email I get, and reading 500 to 600 emails a day is obscene. It's even worse if I take a couple of days away from my inbox, because then there's thousands of emails. It's painful, like, and it's hard to appreciate until you've sat down in front of an inbox like that. And I'm sure that some of you have, like, I'm not judging, but I'm saying that it's a very unique experience to sit down and realize, like, you have 1,400 unread messages today, Drac. What are you gonna do about that? And it would be wrong to delete them, and so you have to read them, but you don't have time to respond to all of them. And that hurts because I love you guys so much and I want to respond to every single thing, but I can't. I just physically can't do it. I don't know how other people do it. I know like some of these vlog channels and stuff that have just like millions of subscribers, I have no idea how those people maintain an intimate relationship with their audience like I feel I have, and simultaneously manage the workload of how much correspondence they get. I've been buried under correspondence all year. So I'm changing commissions. For 2017, I'm not going to take commissions the way that I have been, which is I've been taking them through email and been very selective about which ones I want. I've negotiated each price on a per basis. It's always been that way, and it's a process that I enjoy. I like the negotiation and figuring out what exactly people want and then making it and then sharing that with everyone and then sipping it to them. Like, that makes me happy, making things that make other people happy, but I can't do it. At least for 1 year, I'm gonna take off from commissions, and depending upon how this process works, I will either find something better, but I'm going to give this process a chance to work. Now, the process that I'm working on is through Patreon. I think that is the best way to create an organic stopgap in communication. And before I get into what I'm going to be doing on Patreon, I just want to say that I think that while I'm incredibly appreciative of the Patreon support in 2016, and it allowed me to do a lot of what I did. I built the workbench with Nerfomania, paid for almost exclusively through Patreon. A lot of the storage racks that you see in the workshop rooms and the storage units are Patreon paid for, and storage racks are pretty expensive. Travel expenses and a lot of SC&C expenses were paid for with Patreon money. Ultimately, all money just becomes money. It's not like they turn into dollar bills that say, people sent you this for making YouTube videos, but and that was tough to get over, that eventually all streams of revenue go into the company account, because the YouTube channel, I had to found a company for tax purposes to work with it. And anyway, so it's complicated dividing that up and trying to do the ethically right thing with other people's money. And I feel like I did a good job of being ethical and using it for what it was promised for, which was making the channel better and making better content for you guys. But at the same time, I didn't communicate enough on Patreon over the course of the year, and I missed a couple of months where I promised to announce people's names in video. I mispronounced those names a couple of times, and I feel bad about that, and so I've changed my Patreon's reward tiers. And so the Patreon reward tiers make more sense now. They're also funnier, for whatever it's worth. Even if you can't support me on Patreon or have no desire to support me on Patreon, I put a little bit of time into making them humorous, so they're worth reading. I've changed them so that they'll be easier for me to be honest about them, and I have downloaded the Patreon app so that I can communicate with my patrons exclusively. And I think that they deserve that. I think that the ones from 2016 definitely deserve that, and I think that the new ones that I'll get hopefully when I launch this video deserve that as well. I want Patreon to be a really good place for me to get ideas from people who care deeply about my content, and I want to discuss those ideas with them wholeheartedly. And I think that by downloading it onto my phone, where I do all of the vlog editing, I will be more inclined to deal with that. And I think that not having 500 to 600 emails a day, hopefully, will allow me to do more with it on my desktop. My desktop was really just an editing machine and then a misery machine, because every time I turned it on, I would see the emails. I have nightmares about emails, guys. It's real. So all of those tiers have been edited. Most of them just tell you what I intend to use your money for. The social media perks are, of course, still valid. I still absolutely want to be friends with my patrons on Facebook, on Insta tweets, on Tumblr, whatever you want to be friends on, I will be friends on it. I will play Destiny or Overwatch with you. I would love that. That sounds great, because I don't get a lot of excuses to play video games, and so hanging out with patrons would be awesome. But then I've edited the top ends are still mostly the same, but I've removed the shout out because I felt like it just wasn't a proper reward. And what I'm adding to Patreon that I think more than makes up for taking away some of those little things is the big thing, which is that I will make a blaster every month and give it away to someone who supports me on Patreon. It's going to be a little bit like a raffle in that the tiers stack, but they don't stack by necessary dollar amounts. It will just be everybody who supports me on Patreon is eligible, and each rank that you go up adds an additional probability to whatever the total pool is that you will be selected. So that I think is pretty straightforward if you understand statistics, and if you don't, I will break it down until we get there. But it's a very fair way of doing things, I feel, and it allows me to do something that's really important to me, which is it allows me to have once a month a blaster that I just build for other people without like a ton of input, and I don't have to worry about the price, and I don't have to negotiate it, but I know that A, the person who gets it will appreciate it. It won't be like sending it to a random viewer who may or may not want to use it or have that blaster. I'll know that it's someone who's passionate about my work and passionate about nerfing, so it'll go to a good home, which has always been way more important to me than the price ever was. And then it will also allow me to really say thank you properly to those people who want to financially support me on Patreon, because it's no secret this year that YouTube has dropped the ball. I love YouTube. YouTube is responsible for this current state of my life, and I feel like that's always the thing that YouTubers say. I follow a lot of other YouTubers, not necessarily Nerf tubers, but in other fields as well, and everybody's always extremely grateful to YouTube as a platform for creating this world where they can chase their dreams. But this year, they've all been like, we are really grateful, but could you please stop stabbing us? And I hate to complain and I hate to echo others' exact words, but like, it's not good. This year has been bad. The algorithm has been bad. The way that they've treated subscribers has been bad. They've unsubscribed people from my channel who were watching my videos consistently. They've stopped putting me in notifications for people who were watching my videos, and that's very hurtful to me personally as a creator who I didn't stop putting the effort in YouTube. Like, I kept working really hard. In fact, this is the hardest I've worked on YouTube specifically ever in an annual period. And so like, it was really sad that I got burned that way. So as a special aside, and it'll be somewhere, I'm trying to think, if the video is mirrored on the screen and I point over here, I think it'll be over here. I think down here next to where it says subscribed, and I assume that you're subscribed because you've watched 17 minutes of an update video, there will be a little bell. And if you click the bell will bring up a window. And when the window comes up, people who can edit fancy have done much better jobs of explaining this, but the fancy bell window will come up and it'll say, get notifications from LordDraconical. If you check that, it'll be like you were subscribed to me back before YouTube dropped the ball. So I would definitely appreciate it if you would do that either after this video or pause me during this video or whenever. And I've thought about making a dedicated video for that, but I haven't gotten around to it yet because it doesn't seem like great content. But as long as we're talking about how YouTube kind of hosed everybody this year, please help me unhose my channel. Thanks, guys. But where was I? So the Patreon money is great because whereas YouTube takes YouTube takes almost half of the money and then gives that to the creators, and with the introduction of YouTube Red, I feel like it didn't get that much better. Patreon gives you almost all of the money, like between 90 and 93% of what people donate to you actually goes to you, which is a crazy concept, but with YouTube getting progressively not better, but actually kind of like barely staying the same even with growth or being worse, Patreon is huge. It's actually more important now than it was before for two reasons. One, because it is a better stream of revenue and actually like lets you directly interact with the people who are supporting you the most. But also because I hired my best friend to come work for my company, which means basically help me make better videos, help me attend more shows, because I love talking about Nerf, not only with Rob Lair, but also at conventions in the Southeast and traveling for him, but also like he's gonna help me with camera work at places like Toy Fair. There's just like a lot going on, and with all of the emails and everything, it just became clear that I needed some help. And so it became clear around the same time that he lost his job. And so it all kind of fell together. A lot of major life decisions I've found are made in moments of great stress. Like, oh no, I lost my job, what am I gonna do? Come work for me. And then you like come over here and you're like, I just said that that was gonna happen. How does that actually work? And so then you spend this like frantic, crazy period trying to make sure that it's actually possible and it's actually gonna work, and you run the numbers and you come to it and you realize that maybe, just maybe, there's a win-win. And those are the best situations. Just like the workshop was built because A, I needed a workshop, but I was pretty comfortable with my floor building things on carpet, and then the Draculina suddenly became sort of homeless because of some circumstances beyond her control, and I was like, oh no, we need a place to live now. And so we built the workshop in the basement of the place that we live. And so like life's funny that way. It puts you in like some really tough situations, but I find that if you take the leap of faith and you work really hard, occasionally it will work out for the better. And so I firmly believe that hiring my best friend is going to be a good idea. I know that it hasn't worked out for some people in the past, but we have a really good team dynamic. He's been working for about 2 months now. He's a 3D printing wizard, which is really, really helpful, and frankly, just like a wonderful all-around great guy and genius. And he was losing touch with the hobby because his soul-sucking job was killing him, and now he's not in that job anymore. So hopefully it works out, and Patreon allows me to do that, to support another human being and myself. So like, it's just huge, and I couldn't thank you guys enough for giving me the opportunity. And that was the other like really big thing that I'm always going to remember from 2016, is that the love and support on this channel and on Patreon and just like everywhere. Every show that I go to, I hear such wonderful things about this hobby and about like the effect that my content has had, that I was able to help my best friend when he needed me, and he's done that for me multiple times. So like, getting to pay that forward is a gift that I don't think I could ever adequately thank you for, but I'm trying to thank you for it on YouTube. So that, I don't know, that's as genuine as that can be, I guess, through a screen. It's hard to convey emotion through a camera. I don't know. So, where was I? I was trying to thank all of my patrons properly, and if I get more patrons who would like to be eligible for the Blaster giveaway or just be a part of the channel support network that way, that would be wonderful. I will of course ship the Blaster wherever at my expense, no worries, and it's going to be really good unless something really terrible happens. I intend for each one to be at least a fully fledged secondary or a fully fledged primary in its own system. I can't cover like a lipo charger every time, so that might be like an out-of-pocket expense, which I think is fair. Like, get a really sweet blaster, learn to charge lipos. Not the end of the world. But that should be pretty easy. I've already locked the January one because I feel like it's only fair to give the people who supported me through the entire last year a chance in and of themselves, like an extra reward for a year of patronage, that they get one shot by themselves before new people come in. So we will pick up, if you join Patreon now, as of releasing this video, you will be eligible for February, and then of course any other month throughout the year that this works. But hopefully it's good. And now I want to talk about, I knew I'd need my note eventually, so that is Patreon, and then I want to talk about goals for this coming year. So I'm not big on resolutions. I actually don't like resolutions at all. I think that resolutions set unfair, almost like competition levels of like precedent, where you feel like you have to do something because you said you would. And I think that everybody should be that way anyway. I think that your word should be your bond. So a resolution is like a promise that you make yourself, but then you're angry about because you didn't want to make it in the first place. So these aren't resolutions so much as they are things that I would like to do, but if they don't work out, I'm not going to hold myself to them, because I don't think that cutting off your nose to spite your face has ever made sense. So if they're just like not working after a good college try of like a couple of months, or 3 months, then I will reevaluate where I spend my time. Not to abandon these goals entirely, but some of them are certainly more important than others. So, things that I would really like to do in 2017. I have a Twitch channel. A friend of mine made some really great logos for it, and I'm pretty decent at some of the games that I would like to play. In particular, I think that I'm pretty good at Hearthstone, and I've noticed that there's like a real audience for Hearthstone. So I would like to play Hearthstone on Twitch. That said, Twitch was terrible in 2016 about being transparent with their partnership program, and it was kind of hurtful. So we're gonna try it one more time, but they basically promised me that if I did a couple of streams that met certain requirements because of my YouTube presence, they would reward that with a partnership. And then I did all of the things that they told me to, and they ignored me for a week, and then they ignored me for another week, and by the time they finally got back to me, the way that Twitch rotates through content that is not on a partnered channel, those videos had already disappeared. I know that Twitch could see the analytics from them, but they were like, oh, well, you haven't done the thing that you said you would. And I was like, no. And so that made me bitter, and I hopped off Twitch for a while. So I'm gonna try like setting up a regular streaming schedule, and we'll cover that later when I figure out what that's going to be. And I'm going to set up a dedicated stream for Hearthstone if people enjoy that, or Overwatch with fans if that is better, or just whatever seems to do well. And we will see if we can't get partnered with Twitch, because that seems like a really great community and an opportunity that I would like to explore. Plus I sling mad cardboard, yo. Anyway, even digitally. Another thing that I really want to do is I want to continue traveling. I love traveling. I've already locked into a few different shows and conventions for 2017. One of them, I mean, there are a few. Like, I will be at DragonCon. I'm always at DragonCon. I will be at MomoCon as a featured guest this year. I'm still in talks with Con Nuga. I will definitely be at New York Toy Fair providing press. There will be another JetX conference. I'm not sure which country that's going to be in this year, but I will be at that as well, I believe. Fingers crossed. I don't have that in writing, but I just felt like I had a really good relationship with that company when I visited. And then I will not be going to SHOT Show. I wanted to go to SHOT Show, but I waited too long to submit media credentials, and it is way too expensive to go to SHOT Show without that. Plus, by the time this video goes on, SHOT Show will be very, very soon, so definitely not doing that. But I will continue to travel. I've made it a personal goal to go to New Orleans at least at some point in 2017, because I fell in love with New Orleans. And then the big thing on this list of things that I'd really like to do and share with you via the vlog channel, all of these adventures will be covered in the vlog channel. If you're not following my vlog channel, like everything I've discussed, the links will be in the description box below. There's no obligation to follow my vlog channel. I just pretend to be funny on it, and sometimes it works. And I think that I share some pretty interesting adventures, and that my life is at least quirky enough and weird enough to be entertaining. But that's just me. Maybe it's a really boring life and it's not fun to watch at all. Anyway, the other thing that I really want to do travel-wise is I would like to go to China. Singapore has been described to me as Gateway Asia, and that it would be really satisfying to go to China, not only Hong Kong, but actual China. And I think that that would be just an experience that I might never get the opportunity to have again. And we have a member of the SENC who goes by Chinanio, but he lives in China, and this is his last year kind of being in China, in a position where he could host me over there. And so I would absolutely love to take advantage of that friendship, because he's invited me a couple of times to go, and I've always not been able to go because it's such an expensive plane ride. But my goal is somehow to come up with the money to go to China, because I just think that that would be incredible. So that is the only selfish thing on the travel list. Everything else is work related in some sort of way. I even go to New Orleans to do one of my my client consultations. I can't talk about my clients. I have a lot of NDAs. They're all hanging over there, staring daggers at me right now for even getting this far into this conversation. So anyway, China would be purely for pleasure, and that would be wonderful. I haven't had an actual pleasure trip for my personal self in a while. I did definitely have a very, very enjoyable trip with the Drac Thalassa in December, which you can see in the vlog channel. if you wanted to. But that was her present, not mine. Then the other thing that I just really want to focus on is the Southeast Nerf Club. I hesitate to call it my Nerf Club because it's really our Nerf Club. It's not just like even mine and chickens. It's really the entire core Southeast NIC scene kind of built this magical community around our fun and friendly gameplay. And it turns out that as opposed to some other Nerf communities, and really just one in particular, if you're really good to people and you're really nice to people and you feed people and you explain all of your zany rules, they will keep coming back. So the SENC is, I am very proud to say, like, definitely one of the friendliest, if not the friendliest Nerf clubs around, and it's the fastest growing by far. It's insane. So in 2017, we will be hosting the largest Nerf Wars on the East Coast for sure, and that is a very big responsibility that I don't take lightly. And so I want to make sure that those wars, those events are absolutely the greatest that they could possibly be for everyone who honors us with their attendance. So I'm really, really looking forward to just what the SENC is going to become, because this will be the SENC's third year, I guess. Sort of. It's like 2.5 into 3.5 if we really want to break it down, but we definitely broke stride in 2016, and now we're just sprinting towards some sort of wonderful goal. And I don't even know what that goal looks like, but I'm excited to find out with that Nerf family that I've kind of created down here. So I'm really, really excited about what's going to happen with the SENC. And then other things that I'm really excited about are whatever you are working on. I am very active in my comment section. I'm always open to collaboration. I am very active on Facebook and Instagram. I just love hearing about other people's projects. So last year, I told you guys that I believe in you and your dreams, and whatever it is that you guys want to do, like the least I can do, the absolute minimum for all the support that you've shown me on YouTube and other platforms just throughout my entire digital media career-ish type thing is just pay it forward and tell you that, like, I make toys for a living and videos about those toys, and I get to travel pretending that I'm an anti-zombie warrior sometimes, like, and that is my job. Other, like, actual multinational toy companies pay me for expertise in this field because you guys let me achieve that level of knowledge and expertise, and there's no way that I could ever repay that. I can thank you for it ad nauseum, but the way that I can try to repay you for it is to tell you that, like, if you have a collaboration or a dream or anything that you want to accomplish either on YouTube or otherwise, like, I am always here and ready to listen and happy to help. And hopefully without 500 commission emails every day, I will be able to answer more of those really exciting emails about, like, Dear Drac, I'm considering this field in college, or do you think that this is a wise, like, career path, or like, how do I make this thing that I'm trying to design work? Like, I love emails like that. Those are very exciting when I get to help other people, and that is kind of what the channel's always been about. It's been about making things better, but specifically teaching other people how to make things better. And as I have learned, I feel like a lot of you guys have learned with me, and that's really a very special relationship that I have no intention of abandoning. So that's my big promise, is that in 2017, I'm not going anywhere. Same Drac, same place, no crazy personality changes, no huge content shakeups. It's still going to be very honest, very direct, one friend to another, nerfing goodness and toy stuff. I'm going to be working on the toy lab, where I'm going to try and branch into other toy sectors, particularly since I'm being exposed to them in a way that I haven't been before. And I am going to keep working on the vlog channel because I love sharing that very intimate look at the behind the scenes in my life with you guys. I'm going to promise you that I will be more active on Patreon because I think that it's high time I kicked myself in the rear and did that. And I think that covers, like, most of my goals for the year and what I would like to accomplish and how you guys can help me and how I'm just as happy to help you. So definitely, like, go out there. And I had a really great mentor once who said that the best time to do anything that you want to do is now. And then he would shout right now to shock the entire classroom. But for real, like I firmly believe that, and he was an excellent mentor to me. And while I can't give you that experience, I can relay it to you and tell you that that tomorrow is often too late for the things that we really truly care about. And so if you're watching this video and listening to me talk right now, and you're thinking to yourself in the back of your mind about an idea that you've always had and wanted to try and take a real stab at, I want you to recognize how ridiculous and crazy it would be to elevator pitch my career and my dream and my path that I've taken to anybody with any sense. And so I'm here to tell you that your dream is just as worthy, and that I totally believe in you, and that the best time to attack that is right now. So hit the bell thingy, please, but then hop off and start chasing your dreams, because they will run away from you if you don't. Thanks for watching. Much love. Nerf on. Drac out. See you guys in what's hopefully the next absolute greatest year of my unlife.